There's really just no question about it. Flexispot makes a great desk. And in particular, I think they make the perfect first-timer standing desk. I'm coming from what I would consider a traditional desk setup. So what I have going here is actually a dinner table, my rack unit for all my recording gear, which that's not going away, that's going to stay. We have an old used end table that I got for free. So basically a bunch of hand-me-downs. Oh, I need to show this. The reason I got this table for free is because somebody was going to shorten it into a coffee table, but then change their minds. Somebody was going to throw that thing away, and it became my desk. I was already in the market for a Flexispot desk and was kind of hunting around when they just happened to email me and ask if I wanted a unit for review. So that was an easy yes, because they also sent me exactly the color and the size that I wanted. I got the black legs. I got this nice bamboo top. This is a 6 foot by 30 inch desk. It just fits my little corner over here perfectly. So I actually wanted this. I want to use this. I have been using it every day for long hours for editing, sitting, standing, doing all the kind of stuff. And so I'm going to give you some real thoughts on, is this actually worth the money and who's this for? So I want to start with assembly, which I don't think you should really be buying something like this based on whether or not it's easy to assemble. To be honest, if you can't do it, just find somebody who can. We're talking about one day where you have to put it together, where you're probably going to be using the desk for years afterwards. I would give this like a 5 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. It's not super duper easy, but it's not hard either. All you're going to need to put it together is a Phillips screwdriver and an Allen wrench, and they include the Allen wrench. So screwdriver is on you. That's pretty much it. The build process took me like an hour and a half, but that's because I was also watching The Bachelor with my wife. So I want to talk about this desk as a centerpiece of a home studio, which can mean a lot of things. Most of the work I do professionally now is going to be video and photo related. So this is mainly an editing workstation. It's also going to be for stuff like this, content creation for YouTube. And for those purposes, this is just about perfect. It has the right look and it has the features that you want. You want to be able to sit and stand throughout your day when you're spending long hours editing. I do my full-time job during the day. I do YouTube and freelance work at night. So I spend a lot of hours in here, and the ability to stand is something I just didn't have before. They said it's 300 something pounds, and they said you should demonstrate it by getting on top of it. I'm gonna do what I'm told, okay? If this thing breaks, Flexispot, that's on you. I'm scared now. For safety reasons, don't recommend it. We're doing it for the content. It's like almost 2 a.m. Okay, for how thin this is, I thought I'd feel some flex here. This is surprisingly sturdy, much more than I thought it was gonna be. If you're like me and you're coming from traditional desk setup to standing desk, especially one that's infinitely adjustable like this, you're in for a really great surprise. Something that I feel like is underrated is the ability to adjust the height while you're sitting. This is so nice to use a typical office chair where you can set the height, and then to have a desk where you can also set the height so you can get things just as ergonomic and as perfect to your working style as you want. And then if you feel like changing that at any point, it's just one quick button and you're exactly where you need to be. Personally, I have found myself doing sitting and standing a ton throughout the day. I would say I make that adjustment to standing probably about 4 times a day. And it's just so nice. Like as soon as you're kind of like, I'm a little sleepy or I'm not getting jittery, you stand up, work as long as you can like that, maybe walk around, get some energy out. I feel like creative and focused while I'm standing. And as soon as I'm like annoyed because I've been standing, hit the button, sit back down, relax, and get back to work. Overall build quality, I would say, is very good. I'm going to give it like, I don't know, like an 8 out of 10. It's very high, especially for the price you're paying. Really what you're buying here is 2 parts. You got a tabletop and then you've got the legs, and the legs are the real star of the show. They're just sturdy. Like these things are more like a 10 out of 10. The powder coat paint job is really good. It's a nice thick steel. The motors are strong. I mean, hundreds of pounds at a time, no problem. It works really quietly. This is just something that's definitely got a quality feel for a good price. It seems really obvious to me now that Flexispot is a company that knows what they're doing. Standing desks is the thing that they sell. Office and ergonomics is the thing that they're experts at. And I think it really shows with the E6. Oh, side note, you get a really nice long power cable. And I think I already mentioned this, but you can actually move where it is on the desk. That's really nice. So of course, the other thing you're getting is the actual desktop itself. Now, a quick note here, if you wanted to just buy the legs and you've already got a slab or some other kind of desktop that you want to mount, like that's totally an option. And that's something I'm sort of maybe considering doing at some point. If you were to go to Home Depot or IKEA, you can buy countertops and desktops that are nice, big, thick, like butcher block slabs for a pretty low cost. And you could definitely mount these legs to that desktop and have a real custom desk to you. The reason I would bring that up as an option is because the tabletop that I got, I really love. It's bamboo. It's got a super nice finish. It's more like kind of a matte, so it's not super reflective. It almost has like a very, very kind of micro texture type of feel. It's not slippery at all. This is a great finish. What I don't super love is that it does feel a little bit thin. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. It's more than enough to be sturdy. I just don't know that it totally fits the look. Maybe that's because I bought such a long, 6-footer. But for me, it's beautiful. I just maybe would like it a little bit more if it was a little bit thicker. The only thing that doesn't really feel like super high quality to me might be the little control dock on the side. It's just sort of like a cheaper plastic. When you're pushing the buttons and interacting with it, it doesn't like move. It doesn't feel cheap then. It's just when I was installing it, that plastic just seemed a little less expensive. Flexispot does offer like a bonkers warranty with this thing. It's like 15 years. I think it's like maybe a different time for kind of the different parts, but regardless, it's an extended warranty. They really believe in the product. Having used it now for a little bit, I think it'll go the distance. It definitely seems like something that if you wanted to keep this around for that long, it would easily do it. Something I knew might come up, and it has, is that when you go from a traditional desk to a standing desk where you're going to adjust height like this, you're going to have to work around some new cable management. We've got a little rat's nest of cables. You're just going to need different length cables than what you're used to, and they don't all need to be longer. Some of them that need to go to the ground or to other devices, those need to be longer, like this one over here. And in some cases, that's maybe better if they're actually shorter. So in my case, I've got the cable going from here to the computer. That one's way too long. It's hanging out in the back. This isn't really the fault of Flexispot or the desk, but it is something to consider when you're making the switch. We've got a lot of cable management options that they give you. So Velcro tape that you would just cut to length. They give you this, which is like an adhesive 3M thing. And then they also give you, these are like adhesive / potentially screw-based tabs that can open and close. So instead of like zip ties where you're gonna like, they're sort of a one-time use, these are gonna be able to snap into place and snap back out. In my opinion, this is a mandatory buy. I did get a little cable management tray kind of thing. There's so many variants of this. Flexispot themselves make some. I got one just as a cheap kind of Amazon brand. And what it does is it gives you space for your cables to go, but more specifically, you can put your power strip there and everything that needs power that's on your desk can plug into it there. And so that way your power supply is going up and down with your desk and you're not having a bunch of cables that are splaying up or down as you're going up and down. So what I'm worried about with this desk is it's not a dinner table. Like, it's solid, very solid, but it's not as solid as 4 unmovable legs touching the ground. So look at what I mean. It's got a little bit of wobble. It's not that much. The reason I'm worried is because I have like a worst case scenario here. I'm sitting on carpet, which is already squishy and allows for some movement. And then this floor is horrendous. Whoever built this place didn't know what they're doing. We're talking thin floorboards. This is about as wobbly a floor as it's possible to get. To demonstrate though, I want to show you how much movement we're talking about. If you're just typing like this, very small movement. It's there. It's there. It's enough where I can see it. You probably can't see it at all on camera, I don't think. But if I'm using the mouse or putting my hand on the table like this, okay, that's probably enough that you can see it. If we go kind of extreme here, if I shake this thing around like a lot, you see that? This probably shouldn't count because this is not even safe. This is, this is temporary, okay? We're gonna fix that too. There are real scenarios where we're gonna get that much movement, and in my case, it moved my monitors and all kinds of stuff around. This may be fixable by just securing things a little bit better to the desk. I'm really super duper picky when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I'm borderline like neurotic, perfectionist when it comes to is something shaking or moving around. It really bothers me if that's the case. And so everything I'm about to tell you, is my opinion, and I want you to take it with that as kind of like a grain of salt. Secondly, there's kind of varying degrees of what does it mean for a desk like this to be stable. I would say that this desk is not at any point unsafe, even at its highest height with like stuff loaded on. Like, you're just not going to knock this thing over. I don't really see this being knocked over by dogs or kids. I would also say that this desk is basically stable during normal use, meaning like it's not wobbling around. Like, you're not going to like see it kind of waving. However, especially in my use case, I would not call it perfect. I think if I had a slightly better setup and made some adjustments, I would have a lot less of that. And to be honest, I know I just said it bugs me, but having just like used it now for a little while, I kind of got over it. I would rather have the ability to make all the adjustments and the nice desktop and being able to stand while I work. That's actually more important to me than that this desk would be like 100% rock immovable. Flexispot does make other desks that have the 4 legs. They've actually got a whole series of models that have the 4 legs for extra stability. I think for somebody like me, that's something worth looking into. Maybe an upgrade that I make somewhere along the way. Like I said, they sell these things as sets if you want them, but you can also buy just the legs and then your own like desktop. I think that will be my personal sort of next iteration of a standing desk whenever we get there. Overall, I'm actually really thrilled. I'm really, really stoked. You can ask my wife. She's like, oh, he's always going on about his new desk. That's true. I just love it. I think that this is just about perfect for me. It's perfect for content creators, home studio types like myself. I really do think this is like the perfect entry point for people coming from a traditional desk. This seems like the workhorse, get it done standing desk for most people. The price is really attractive. The warranty's great. There's just a lot to love about it. The different color options. It's really hard to miss. I think Flexispot understands this market. They make a great product. If you do buy one, make sure to use my link. Of course, that's going to be in the description down below. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a little cut of that, and it lets Flexispot know that you are coming from me, so that's helpful. Now it's your turn to roast me in the comments. I really do actually want to hear what other people think. Maybe you've got one and you hate yours or you love yours, or maybe you're just like, standing desks are a fad. Whatever it is, let's hear in the comments. I'll see you guys down there.